Dinner in Hell Band!
Woo!
That's what I'm talking about. Listen to them.
Good Lord, this band rips. Shit.
Oh, they're tearing it up. I believe a couple weeks ago you said hot licks. I agree.
Yeah.
Hot licks up there.
Like molten lava lapping at my freaking, like I'm standing on a, like a mountain that's covered with lava, and I'm like barefoot, and I'm like in like Mordor, and the lava's like jumping up and like licking at my bare furry little feet.
Yeah, totally.
I'm a hobbit.
Totally.
That's how I feel about his guitar work, and hers, both of them. So, how you doing?
I'm doing good. That might change though.
Brad, I gotta interrupt you. I have to bring something up, and I don't think we've done this yet in our show. Mm-hmm. But the last episode we did was about Mackinac Massacre.
Indeed.
And it was about how the British major like goofed and like left all the weapons behind at the fort and trusted the natives that invited him to the game, and in turn like left his whole troop of like 35 vulnerable slaughtered. We really didn't drive home that decision making of that guy, and I just feel like we really cut it short on that episode.
Yeah, he was a real doofus. There's no doubt about that.
I don't think we've ever like retouched a topic on a show before of ours like this, like I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. I just sprung this on Brad, by the way. He didn't know I was going to do this. So I'm just like, want to really drive it home like that. If you listen to Mackinac Massacre, you look up like Google, read the stories, it's like totally hilarious that this idiot fell for this.
Yeah, basically every
ambush.
time you imagine him with a dunce cap on, because that's like the reality. He is a drooling moron.
So, that being said, move on to another issue. We have some new freaking people listening in from different countries. Mm-hmm. We had freaking Bulgaria listening.
Welcome, Bulgaria.
Guatemala, and freaking like the Caribbean is
nice.
listening.
I mean, a lot of them have heard us before when we toured down there.
No, but seriously, they listen to the Bloody Benders.
They're getting in on the digital aspect now. I can dig it.
Some new cities like San Diego is checking in. Mm-hmm. That's cool. So thanks for listening. If you're listening now, welcome
back to another exciting edition of the Dinner in Hell podcast, a show where two amateur historians talk about the atrocious underbelly of history. I am one of your co-hosts, Brad the Impaler, and with me, as always, Ron Maiden. Ron,
what's happening?
What are we getting into tonight?
Oh my God! Well, here we are. It's time. We talked about it, what we're going to be doing, and we're going to be doing Volume 2 of our Nazi series. This is going to be a multi-part series, split up into 3 sections, all about the Holocaust in Germany. You heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you have, because you've been reading about it for 3 days now.
Yeah.
But for one whole day, 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour. You've read about it for an hour. Am I right? Mm-hmm. But anyways, we're going to talk about the whole Holocaust, how it started, how the Jewish people got corralled, freaking persecuted, put on trains, killed in the end. Freaking armies of like allied forces like U.S. come in, they discover shit. This is all gonna be broke up into multi-parts.
Yeah, this is volume 2, but it's a big one, so it's definitely a multi-parter.
Like Crucifixion was a multi-parter. We didn't know that was gonna be a multi-parter. We just had so much reaction to it that it forced it on us. But we were planning a multi-parter. What would you say? What we're gonna cover today in a nutshell?
Well, I'd say what we're going to get through in part 1 of volume 2 on Nazis is the series of legal enactments that made things just dog shit to be a Jew in Germany. And then the second part of the show is going to be all about Kristallnacht, which is when the Holocaust turns from intimidation to death, basically.
Intimidation, like make them work not feed them, so they're like super skinny.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or even like it's when the real physical repression begins, as opposed to just intimidation.
like freaking making them all wear a star on their arm.
Yeah.
Or somehow identifying their clothes had a star on it. Like,
Mhm.
God, can you believe that?
Yeah, various types of economic terrorism. We're gonna get all into it. Yeah, this shit haunts us, so now it's gonna haunt you too. Like it should.
But let's try to do this for the listener.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to make it the funnest Holocaust volume and part series ever.
Yeah, this is gonna
Podcast
be.
history.
We are still gonna try and make jokes when they present themselves. So, come along for the ride. Have a fun. Have some fun.
What up, Yoko?
All right. So, where did we leave off last time? Last time we stopped at the Reichstag fire. That's the parliament building for the Weimar Republic in the interwar Germany. And I think that's a good place to pick things up. Now, so if you recall, Hitler wasn't elected by a popular vote. He was appointed chancellor of like a second government because the Weimar Republic was extremely unpopular. He's like, you know what? You have also a government, and if more people like yours, then we'll just go with that one. Yeah, so the Reichstag fire set by a Dutch communist by the name of Marinus van der Lubbe. And, you know, what Hitler did is to frame this fire as the opening salvo of a campaign of terrorism by international Jewish Marxism. In reality, he probably acted alone, and he may have even been schizophrenic.
Neurodivergent?
Neurodivergent, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes. So either way, he had problems. He had previous arson convictions too. But you know, it's not uncommon to make something it's not and frame it like a giant terrorist conspiracy when it's really just a sick person.
Son of a bitch. So this dude's setting fires to make it look like other people are?
No, he really did want to. He was a communist, and he was trying to agitate the German working class to rebel, but, like, they framed it like the whole rest of the world is against us, and they're all coming to do this all the time, when it was still kind of just one dude doing something.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that for me. It helps the rest of the story.
Yeah, but you know what they say is never let a good tragedy go to waste. And the Nazi officials certainly didn't, because within hours of the fire, dozens of members of the Communist Party of Germany were thrown into jail. And because he was able to make it a national security issue, a terrorism question, so framing the confrontation with the KPD as a military one rather than a judicial or police matter meant that the party leadership could act as they saw fit. They didn't need to worry about trying to get like normal everyday people who were police officers to participate in this. They were just like, oh, it's army thing, so suck it up. Just bypass the like whole government and just do whatever they want.
Like stormtroopers?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
The stormtroopers, named after the German stormtroopers, the Sturmschütze, the SS. That's what
okay.
it literally means.
Like we're the new police.
Mm-hmm. And also, the way things worked with this legal framework is if they thought that the regional or, like federal state governments weren't doing good enough, that the party could come in and just take it over. Guess who got to decide if they were doing well enough or not? The party. So they just, they just came in and would take over whole governments. Like, oh, Michigan, like, you're not doing enough to tackle the communist extremists, so the Nazis are in charge now. Like, you're all report directly to me and you do what I say. Yeah. Yeah, so terrible.
It's kind of weird not having an audience today.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking, it's really quiet.
Yeah.
Just the band only. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
But, oh well, it is Labor Day. We're taping on Labor Day, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the
People are probably barbecuing.
Yeah, all of the Teamsters and the staff, they're not coming to work today. And, we had to get the show recorded, but we had to give them the day off.
Good thing our band's foreign. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, non-union.
They're like not even, they don't even have, their visas are about to expire. Shit. Like fucking Norwegian. Okay, sorry. I just had to get that off my chest.
Yeah, so now this law that we're talking about that allows them to do all of this does pass the Reichstag. It passes the democratically elected parliament of, the German Republic at the time. The thing is, though, is all of the communists who were members of parliament had already been arrested. All of the, liberal or, fellow travelers, like social democrats, they had all been harassed and intimidated by the SA, Hitler's brown shirts, his private army, and the young stormtroopers, as you mentioned earlier.
The brown shirts.
Yep.
It's like a freaking army of UPS dudes just like coming at you like billy clubs. Hey!
Mm-hmm.
God damn, it's the brown shirts.
Yes.
That's the German accent back then.
Yeah, that's if you try to deny your fucking package. Like if somebody says they've got 200 pounds of sod coming your way and they need that credit card number.
From Guam. God damn it. You're going to sign this digital signature. And it better not be a Jewish last name.
Yeah, this says Finkelstein. You're done.
I love doing this shit. Nazi guy. He loves being an asshole.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They only hire assholes, right? Good. Okay, we're going to need a few good assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be an asshole. Fucking join the SA,
yeah,
because we're gonna be stomping faces and shit. It's gonna be awesome.
They just have to be some of history's greatest assholes. Who the fuck is doing this? Well, I know who it is. It's really disaffected, World War I veterans who had seen that hell.
Dude, you're talking about history's greatest assholes. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
How many different cultures had slaves? Slave cultures enslaved their own kind. Black people enslaved black people. Irish people were slaving people. Dude, there's all kinds of assholes. You can go back.
But I mean, for their time, they were way out of the norm.
These guys?
In terms of level of assholery.
Yeah, just when you think, back then, in the 40s, whatever, they're civilization's pretty good. This is pretty perfect. We have cars. We got electricity. I got a phone in my house.
Mm-hmm.
TV's pretty cool. What could go wrong? All of a sudden, this fucking Nazi shit breaks out. People are dying in camps. So,
yeah.
Who's to say now? We all think, hey, got a cell phone in my pocket. Car drives itself. Working this. Life's pretty good. What could go wrong? You never know.
Yeah, brown shirts.
They never knew.
Red hats.
They never knew. Easy. Hey, they never knew, right? They thought what could happen. Now look at this. We're sitting here thinking what could happen.
Yeah, I will suppose. You know what I say? I mean, history's greater assholes might be neo-Nazis.
I hope we pick up 10 conspiracy fans on this episode. That's good. I love your show. I love how you hit that conspiracy button.
Yeah, because at least at this point in time, I don't think anybody would have guessed, maybe outside of Adolf Hitler and himself, where this would end up. All the shit you're going to hear in episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah.
That's the thing, neo-Nazis are willing to use their symbols and say that they agree, knowing all of it. How much do you think the regular, rank and file Nazi guy would have still signed up if he would have known about, the ovens and shit? Probably not all of them.
Right.
All of modern neo-Nazis are yeah, I know about the ovens and the concentration camps and, the dead babies and shit, and I think that's awesome, and I want to do it.
Yeah.
So, the neo-Nazis are even worse and scarier than the originals.
That's a good...
At least in my opinion.
I see your logic. I like that. It's good.
Now, they're passing laws that give them more governmental power, nearly unilateral already at this point. They begin to consolidate economically. They form cartels with the highest sort of levels of business in Germany at the time in order to make sure that they have the high rollers and shit are on their team. They're like, listen, as long as you don't kick up a fuss and resist us, we're going to make sure we structure things so you get rich. That's also why, even though the full name of the Nazi Party is the National Socialist German Workers' Party, like that socialist part is they were just trying to deceive socialists into liking them because they did not have any socialist policies.
Okay.
The national part, they were definitely German nationalists, though. That part's for real. Now, after this sort of economic and governmental consolidation is complete, that's when the quest to cleanse Germany of its undesirables really kind of turned on. It's when he had enough power to. So, the degenerates, who they viewed as genetic inferiors. Of course, the communists got rounded up, and the communist or the Bolshevik ideology, as was prominent at the time, was heavily wedded by the Nazis to Jews. They characterized communism as a Jewish ideology. Karl Marx was Jewish.
Oh, so since he thought of it up, so the whole race did?
I guess so, yeah. Now, on top of this, the press was also suppressed. Hitler himself famously had a name for the press in Germany at the time, and that was the Lügenpresse, which can be translated as lying press. I like to translate it as fake news myself. But opposition of any kind in the public sphere toward the Nazi seizure of power or the party in general was immediately crushed. They didn't brook any criticism. They didn't. If you were like, "Hey, I don't know about this," they would just like come in and shut your ass down immediately.
Like a news office?
Yeah. Like if you put out like, "Hey, I don't know, maybe these Nazis aren't so good," they would like literally just come in and stop you from ever publishing again. Yeah, so any sort of public opposition was pretty quickly crushed. Like there weren't. If you wanted to protest them, they would just shut it down and they'd put you in prison. Once they had that level of power, opposing them in that way was already impossible. I think at this point in time, it should be mentioned that though. I mean, I don't know how to put this without it sounding fucked up, but the Jews are the stars of the story. They were definitely not the only people that were targeted in the solution of cleansing Germany of all of its degenerates or, racial inferiors, according to their theories.
Would you say they're the Star of David of this episode?
Ooh, good one.
See that? Because that pun website you sent me to, that link you emailed me. That's where I got that from.
Puns are us.
I was like, Star of David puns. I'm like, oh, Star of the Story. I remembered it.
As early as 1933, victims of imprisonment and murder also include the Romani, black people in Germany, the mentally ill, people with mental or physical disabilities. I'm sorry, neurodivergent.
That's Dinner in Hell, trademark, copyright, do not, Ricky Bobby Inc.
So people with hereditary diseases, homosexuals, prostitutes, pacifists, beggars, and anyone else in any way deemed by them to be antisocial.
I would probably be round up. Like, hey, you haven't... we haven't seen you outside your house. Just kidding.
Yeah,
you never go out at night.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be walking free, that's for sure. But, 1933 is an important year, too. That's the year Dachau, the first concentration camp, opens up. Now, initially, that's holding, political prisoners and not, a killing machine, an industrial murder machine yet. But that's the intimidation in the streets is also heating up, and they begin to boycott the businesses of all of these people to try, as a form of economic terrorism to make it difficult for them to, live.
Jewish guy's got like a tailor shop.
Oh, they'll say like, don't shop here, shop at the German tailor shop. Yes, there were more legal discriminations too. He passed a law that kept Jewish children out of public schools. He affected public schools in other ways too, removing any teaching about democracy or equality. And he added, his bizarre racial hierarchy to the public school curriculum.
Like, never trust a Romani. Goddamn Romanis.
Yeah, well, they do it. I remember hearing about this before. They do it in a really subtle way. So, like, you remember story problems in math?
Yeah.
They would do,
Yes.
like, I remember seeing them, and they would be really fucked up things about Jews. Like, they would be like, usually it's like if you have 5 apples and Johnny takes away 2, like, how many do you have left? But it would be like if you have 5, like, Reichsmarks and the Jewish person steals 2 from you, how many do you have left? Like, that's how insidious, like, the ideology is they sneak it into everything.
Dude, North Korea does it now. And this girl was saying, like, what story problems she had. It was like, you have 2 American bastards and you cut off both their heads. How many American bastards' heads do you have divided by 2? Mm-hmm. It's like, what? This little girl's got to say that.
I mean,
I'm going through puberty. Hear my voice.
Yeah.
This little girl, Aunt Nell.
Well, I mean, we are technically at war with them still after, like 50 years.
North Korea?
Yeah, that war is still ongoing.
America is?
Yeah. There's only an armistice. The Korean War never ended. It's still happening.
We're still at war?
Yeah, technically speaking, the United States and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea are still currently at war.
Isn't that funny? Like, North Korea goes to, like, please, I hope we don't get, like, emails and shit. But, like, it's funny that North Korea, like, they're like, look, you guys all fucking test missiles. But we test a missile, and it's like, you guys are, like, going to threaten with hellfire.
Yeah, and like
everyone else gets 2 but us. What the fuck?
And they don't. They report things about North Korea. Like, all right, I need to preface what I'm about to say with that.
I'm not sticking up for them.
The DPRK looks by all accounts to be kind of a dog shit place to live.
Yeah, we do not support them.
Like, they're not crazy. Like, they're people that are basically exactly like you.
They're brainwashed.
Be careful of only seeing what is reported to you.
Okay.
Because, like, they're brainwashed. The people in North Korea are absolutely brainwashed.
Yeah.
But if you don't think you are, you're wrong. Because you are.
Punch that card.
Boom. Boom, Impaler.
Jesus.
Anyway,
we're getting way into North Korea.
To fucking Juice DPRK hour.
Jesus. We really, I was just talking about they didn't have, they were just the only ones that weren't allowed to test missiles, and that's what Welcome back. In 1935 came the Nuremberg Laws.
Yeah, we're out of the DPRK and we're back to Jewish persecution in Nazi Germany.
Whew.
Yeah, so the Nuremberg laws were including denaturalization, meaning if you were Jewish, you're no longer a German citizen. So as you can see, in 35, things are kind of stepping up to another level here. This also included forbidding Jews to marry German citizens. So even if you had an existing marriage between a Jewish person and a quote-unquote German person, that marriage would be dissolved. So, like, you could have been married for 25 years and have 3 kids. Like, now you are not married and you got 3 bastards.
The freaking German man, he's like, whew. Whew. That was close. Thought I was going to have to spend the rest of my life with that. Holy shit, after 3 kids, good Lord.
Yeah, it's like, kidding. I've heard of divorces where one person doesn't want to get divorced, but this is like a divorce where no person wants to get divorced.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking
Yeah.
terrible. Like,
Tear
that's
families
tearing
apart.
families. Yeah, it's fucking awful. It's like some of this stuff, even though it may not be the sexier type of evil we generally get into, this is like life-ruining level shit already, and we're only in part 1.
You did not comment on my German accent. I've been working on it too.
Let's hear it one more time.
Good Lord. Holy shit. I was going to spend the rest of my life with that thing. German.
Perfect.
German, baby.
It's perfect.
Boom. Maiden. 1936.
Okay, so things calmed down just a spell because the Olympics were in the Third Reich. 1936.
That was my mouth.
Yeah, so they didn't want to look too bad in front of the rest of the world. So, they took down all of the anti-Jewish posters and stuff that were usually plastered up all over Berlin.
Jewish people are like, what the fuck? I like these Olympics.
Yeah.
Jewish people are like, open my bagel shop back up.
Yeah, if only we could have Olympics every time.
So, yeah. They removed all this shit.
The harsh public repression sort of had a little bit of a break, but in 1938, all Jewish doctors were completely decertified. All Jews were required by law to hand over any jewelry of value.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just fork it all over. That's a new law.
If you have jewelry, you must give it up.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of hidden jewelry in the house.
Probably.
If you have gold teeth, please remove your teeth prior to whatever. Give us your gold teeth.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
They got the gold teeth, but they got them later.
Yeah. Dude, nice. I love that foreshadow in you. You got a lot of foreshadow in you.
I've read that book I don't even know how many times now.
So, would you say we are getting into the second section of our opener here of the volume?
Yes.
Now, would you say we're going to get into Crystal? How do you say it?
Kristallnacht?
You want to get into that? Talk about what it is, the craziness.
Yeah, let's do it. So we get up to this point in the Nazi regime. The goal, as it appears, even in Vienna, the newly annexed Austria, was designed to get Jews to flee. Like, if we make it just dog shit to live here, we can get rid of them, I guess was sort of their intention. When they scapegoated all the Jewish people and Romani people and black people and heterosexuals and the whole fucking list of people that Nazis hate. And shit, by this point in time, it was also illegal for a Jewish person to go to the opera, to the movies, or to any sort of concert.
Gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah,
they were not allowed. There was like not one Jewish guy face painted at the gathering.
Yeah, the
1938
Berlin Gathering of the Juggalos.
Woo woo.
Whoop whoop. Yeah, shit. They even had to rename all the public parks and all the streets and shit that had Jewish names. They renamed all of it. Yeah, so the Kristallnacht, though, marks a transition in all of that. It's when things go from intimidation to actual physical repression. And it gets its start with they go back to their old playbook, and they say it's because of terrorism.
Oh. To get the German citizens behind it.
Mm-hmm. On November 7th of 1938, a young man by the name of Herschel Greenspan, angered at the repression of Jews, rightfully, he shot Nazi diplomat Ernst von Roth. He had a postcard in his pocket when he did it, too, because he was arrested immediately. It was addressed to his parents that they had been forcibly expelled from Hanover and, deported into Poland. And it read, "May God forgive me. I must protest so that the whole world hears my protest, and that I will do." 2 days later, he died. And that is exactly the excuse that Hermann Göring had been waiting for.
Shit.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, we got somebody who, shot a diplomat.
That's terrorism.
Yep, and he died.
Told you.
Yeah. Terrorism, the second one of all, is we told you this huge, massive push of terrorist activity was coming, and now it's here.
One person was shot.
And even though he totally deserved it, and
we
all would deserve the same.
Your whole entire race will pay because one person was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, and you may be asking yourself in this whole campaign of intimidation, why didn't the Jews just leave? That is a question that had occurred to me when I initially studied this. Why were there any left?
Yeah, just go. Italy, something, Greece, check it. I mean, Florida, shit.
Yep, well, the Nazis weren't the only fucked up thing about the 1930s, because the whole rest of the world was only slightly less anti-Semitic than Nazi Germany, and nobody would take them.
Other countries were like, we're
like,
good.
Hey, we think we got enough Jews already.
We heard about, no.
Like, they're your problem. Don't foist them off on us. Yeah, the whole rest of the world was only slightly less shitty than Nazi Germany in terms of treatment of Jewish people, by and large.
If you had to, relocate Eskimos, everyone would be like, yeah, fucking Eskimos.
Come on in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bring your fucking fur shit. We want to see the kayaks. Whale skin. You know?
Yeah, and even,
But these goddamn Jews.
Yeah, for why? I don't know, but they've been history's, punching bag for a real long time.
Yeah.
As a credit to them, though, they're some tough motherfuckers, man. They've been to the wars. You do not want to get into a fight with Jews. Yeah, so Von Roth dies, and their goals are shifted now. Immediately, all Jewish cultural activities were banned, and all publication of any sort of Jewish newspaper or magazine was immediately outlawed.
Oh, that's freaking...
Yeah, now Göring that night sent out instructions for what was to follow to the SA, the brown shirts, as well as local police departments, and the message was, don't get involved in this. Stay on the sidelines tonight, police. You're not necessary.
Keep your police indoors.
Yeah, and it was funny the other day. I saw a videotape of a protest in Charlottesville, and I saw a guy shoot a gun at protesters, and then I saw the police do nothing. Just saying.
Really?
Yes.
They
arrested him days later, but he was standing right in front of a bunch of cops, and he shot into a crowd kind of, and the police were just stood there.
Anger inducing. Stay off the internet.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into what actually happened on Kristallnacht.
After the cops are now staying inside, they've got the deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
Kerosene lamp, bottle of frickin' scotch.
Yeah, they're chilling.
Loud music going so they don't hear the chaos outside.
Yeah, some fucking da 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 da. Yeah, so the Stormableitung, the brown shirts, as well as Nazi-aligned German civilians, on the night of the 10th, rampaged throughout the entire country, smashing Jewish storefronts, destroying synagogues, raiding countless Jewish homes. The name of this atrocity, Kristallnacht, is often translated to the Night of Broken Glass.
God damn it.
Yeah, and we're talking in total over 7,500 Jewish storefronts destroyed, burned, looted. It was a real next step in terms of economic terrorism.
There's a German barbershop that's not touched.
Yeah, so there could be a Jewish tailor, a Jewish, sausage maker.
Come on, God damn it! If I'm in Germany, I'm eating German sausage from a German sausage smith.
Yeah, I don't know, a place where you can get like some soup. I don't know, a bagel.
Why'd you say bagel, man?
Because bagels are stereotypically Jewish.
I already said bagel. I said bagel earlier.
Oh shit! Sorry.
I was trying to see if you caught me.
Matzah. You can get some matzah. I don't know, but yeah. So if there was like you could destroy like 4 Jewish businesses in a row, and the next one would be a non-Jewish business, and it would be pristine in the morning. They wouldn't touch it.
There's even a Nazi outside with a paintbrush tidying it up a little bit. Like, oh, it looks like you could use a little touch up. We just want to make sure you're looking just spiffy.
Yeah, may as well have been. It's about how much bullshit that came along with it. Perhaps, also 200 synagogues were damaged. Most of them were eventually, over the course of the night, completely destroyed. On top of this, probably the worst thing is the human cost that they were to suffer, because about 100 Jewish people were murdered this night. So in
the streets.
Yeah, they're murdered in the streets. I mean, this large-scale rioting with political motivation all the way across the country, specifically targeting Jewish people. Also, 30,000 able-bodied, young Jewish men were rounded up and taken to the labor camps at this point too. So it really is a landmark. These are 2 big milestones that are terrible that you cross here. It's the first large-scale, roundup of ethnic Jews, and a lot of death in that one night. And spoiler alert, the numbers are going to get a lot worse.
Those guys that are in the concentration camps that are working, they're like kind of smiling and shit, and they're like, what the fuck you so happy about? And the guy's like, shit, they burned down my synagogue that I own. I know once I get out of here, I got that insurance check coming for the fire, burning down his his property. All those businesses like, oh, my tailor shop, I'm getting that insurance check from the fire, baby. Thanks, Nazis. The guy's like, man, I got some bad news for you. You are not getting out of here, and you are not getting that motherfucking money.
Yeah, actually, after...
Welcome to Holocaust, bitch.
Yeah. After the crystal knocked, there was about, all of the money that was supposed to be repaid by insurance companies to the Jewish businesses who were destroyed was diverted instead into Nazi coffers.
Nazi coffers?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like their purse, like where they have their money.
There you go. Get pissed, people. If you're not pissed yet.
Yeah, and they claimed this was as repayment for damages to the German nation. It's like, get all your shit destroyed and then get all the money that you were supposed to get to repair it taken from it. Also, a little cherry on the money bullshit is that the entire Jewish community of Germany was found to be collectively responsible, and they were fined by the Nazi government for 1 billion Reichsmarks, which is, approximately 5.5 billion United States dollars today.
That's it?
Yeah. So,
find the entire race of Jewish race?
Yeah, like...
Find them.
Yeah. So it'd be like, hey, like...
Where's my money? Like,
it'd be like if during the Puerto Rican Day parade, like a building accidentally got set on fire, so they were like, all Puerto Ricans are fined.
Like, we all got to divvy up their money?
Yeah.
Up with 5.5 bill? Whatever.
Yeah. Everybody's got to chip in. Like, it's like everybody's going in for a pizza or something. I don't know how the logistics of this work, but they were just stealing.
Where's my
money?
money?
Were just trying to make it legal to steal, which is what they were doing.
Where's my money, fucker? That's my money.
Not anymore. Now, you may think, like, oh, like, how'd they pull off this is like daring maneuver? It was not a secret. The entire world witnessed this. The United States consul in Germany described the treatment as ghoulish. I mean, it's like ancient shit. Sacred skulls, ancient writing, important philosophy texts, art were all burned in the synagogues. I mean, and I assume if you're listening to this show, you find that as offensive as we do, considering we're we're amateur historians.
Yeah.
We like when ancient shit's still around, you got to keep it safe.
Yeah.
We're about that life.
Yeah. Preserve it.
Yeah.
Me and Brad spend so much time at the freaking museum downtown. It's like not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
They all know us. Hey guys, come on in. Go straight to the weapon room.
Yeah, there were more eyewitnesses to this event. An eyewitness named Eric Lucas recalls it did not take long before the first heavy gray stones came tumbling down, and the children of the village amused themselves as they flung stones into the many-colored windows. When the first rays of a cold and pale November sun penetrated the heavy dark clouds, the little synagogue was but a heap of stone, broken glass, and smashed-up woodwork.
Little children breaking the windows of a synagogue?
Having a blast doing it.
Son of a bitch. When they were beating these people and killing them in the streets, there was moms holding their children up to see it.
Yeah, so
Check
they
it
could
out.
watch. Look.
Look at our country kicking ass.
That's like, I think sometimes when people imagine Nazis, they think of like what you would imagine a villain to be. But you can't really do that because they're people. Like you see pictures of like the guards and like SS guards and stuff playing cards and laughing because they'll gas a bunch of people and then they'll go home and like cuddle their little baby daughter, like
and kiss their wife and cut the grass.
Like that's a problem because people believe like, oh well, that could never happen here because we're not like that. It's not about that. These people were normal people too. It can creep up any time. You got to watch out.
I don't know. It's not that time anymore, Brad. This life gets nicer. I don't think we have that many sociopath freaking people. Like, what's the end game? They get money, and they get to be alive. I mean, what is that? Is that their motivation? That they're employed?
I mean, that's a lot of it, but a lot of it is at a certain point.
Like, who would take the job?
We might not have a choice.
Oh, conspiracy people are like, God damn it, this is a juicy one.
Yeah, you get drafted.
This episode is throbbing with conspiracy.
Yeah, you get drafted, and
Denver Airport
they
mural.
tell you what to do.
Denver Airport mural.
Illuminati confirmed.
Isn't the Denver Airport in a fucking swastika shape?
I have no idea.
That'd be crazy. Where are we in this saga?
Yeah, you were talking about the kids getting held up to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we heard about that from Hugh Green, a correspondent for the Daily Telegraph, the British paper. He was there in Berlin that night, and he talked about how the mob just ruled all night long, through the evening. Hordes of people involved in what he described as an orgy of destruction. I mean, he said he'd seen several anti-Jewish riots, but nothing like that. He called it nauseating. Racial hatred and hysteria had taken complete hold of otherwise decent people.
I just want to report back.
Mm-hmm.
The Denver Airport. I just looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at your monitor, page 2. You'll see the runways are in swastika shape. Holy shit.
God damn. They kind of are.
What the fuck?
It's a really janky one.
Is that real?
Kind of is.
Is our source correct? Yeah. UFO
Google
blogger.
Earth. UFO blogger, yeah. It does look like just like a Google Air shot of it, though. I can see a bunch of them. One looks like it. Okay, now I'm looking at one that has the runways highlighted in
black.
red.
Yeah.
No, I've got one that highlighted in red, and it also, for some reason, looks like somebody's drawn a dick on this map.
What do you mean by dick? Like cock?
Yes.
Okay. I was making sure. I didn't know if you meant like an asshole person, like a dick, like Hitler or something.
Here, hold on. I'll send it over to your monitor real quick. See what I mean?
Yeah, there appeared to be some type of scrotum at the base of that. Wonderful. We're just full of information here on the internet. Okay, I interrupted you with that Denver Airport. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, so all of this shit, all of these raids happen on November 10th, the night of broken glass. And we've talked about the economic terrorism. At this point, the 30,000 Jewish men who got arrested and forced into labor camps, those were Dachau, Buchenwald, and Sachsenhausen. Those were the concentration camps that they'd had up and going at that point in time. I mean, that early. 1938, if we, put ourselves in the structure of the larger timeline, this is still before the Nazis had invaded Poland.
Okay.
So this is before World War II even starts.
Okay.
He had begun expanding. So, I mean, I guess you could say we're in the early causative period because he had already annexed what the Nazi Germany referred to as the Sudetenland, which was then part of Czechoslovakia. So his expansion had begun, but there hadn't been any military confrontations yet in World War II. But I guess you could say the foundations were firmly laid for that, as well as, the horrors to follow the horrors that had already happened to the Jewish people in Germany. This is the true beginning of the Holocaust.
Church bell. Wow. Hell of a show.
Yeah, that is some heavy shit.
So let's recap and let's kind of foreshadow into next episode, want to? So today we figured out how freaking Jews were rallied or I guess persecuted.
Yeah, the beginning of their persecution and the first sort of really, really awful event and what we refer to as the Holocaust.
Somewhere we beginning to go into labor camps like the people that were arrested on the Kristallnacht.
Mm-hmm. In the next episode, what we're going to be getting into is the logistics, the industrial setup, how people were rounded up, where they were put, where concentration camps were.
Shipping and handling?
Yeah, shipping and handling, I guess you could say. And they may have said shit just like that. They were inhuman about it.
We got a couple parcels here. Live and kicking.
Mm-hmm.
Feisty little fellers, too. Attitude.
Yeah.
It's almost like as if they're fighting for their life.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be getting into in episode 2. And then in episode 3, we're going to be rounding it off with, what the liberators found when they rolled in and freed these concentration camps when the Soviets and the other allies closed in.
I hope it's really fun, happy shit.
Oh, yeah. It's just a laugh riot. It's like a fucking episode of Step by Step.
What was Step by Step?
It was the one where I remember they had like a cousin who lived in a car in their driveway or some shit named Cody. I don't know why Step by Step popped into my head.
Step. Well, earlier in the show,
day by day.
Earlier in the show, I went when my voice cracked. I went, "Aunt, no," and you didn't catch that, but that was "Give Me a Break."
No, I don't.
Give me a break, cause I should need one.
I never saw that. Yeah. Was that maybe before my time?
It was a white family with a black woman as like the maid.
Oh, great!
But she was the star. She was Aunt Nell. And she like kept the family in check. But Joey Lawrence was this like heartthrob, like whoa, shmo. Joey Lawrence was the little boy. Aunt Nell, you putting a vacuum in the fish tank, Aunt Nell. The water's getting sucked up. Like,
yeah. Oh, I never saw that.
Well, I'm gonna send you a give me a break.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
Can you put it in the notes?
I got that Fire Stick. I'm gonna watch the whole episodes.
People, after listening to this episode, look up Give Me a Break. Any episode, catch freaking Aunt Nell running shit.
Yeah, or you could also tell me like what Step by Step is actually about, because I can't remember jack shit about it except for the weirdo cousin. I know it was on TGIF though back in the day.
Did you watch Facts of Life?
Yeah. You take them both and then
and I'm thinking of no, not Facts of Life, with Alex P. Keaton.
Oh, that was Growing Pains, right?
No, that was with fucking Boner.
Oh.
That was with Thick.
Fuck, what was
Alan
the Alex
Thick.
P.
Mike. It was Family Ties.
Family Ties.
Everything you got. That's Cheers. No, but remember Boner? No, not Boner. Nick. Nick was Mallory's boyfriend. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, that
Remember?
sounds
Like-
yeah.
And Skippy was the neighborhood kid. We're trying to lighten this up for you folks. We're not trying to get too sidetracked here, but we just talked about Jewish people getting their fucking totally shit on.
Yeah, this is a heavy one. There's not too much that's, hilarious about this.
Yeah. We had nothing really to joke about. We tried. We failed.
Especially because for some unknown reason, Jews continue to catch an unending amount of shit today. But, I hope there were a couple laughs in there.
Yeah.
We all learned some things.
Hope you got this far. We've had listeners stop listening partway through because they can't take it, but, hopefully they come back.
Maybe they'll have an easier time with the Holocaust.
Yeah, maybe that'll like us a little later.
Yeah, well, thank you for listening. If you want to talk to us, the easiest way is on Twitter. We're at Dinner in Hell Pod. We're at dinnerinhell.com. We're always welcoming emails at dinnerinhellpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube. You name that shit, we're on it.
Believe that.
Don't forget to rate and subscribe on iTunes, please. It would grow my tiny black heart 3 sizes if you did.
Have we had anyone do that? I swear to God. Any real people?
There were 3 on there when I looked.
That would really be something new for us. If
No, I'll
to-
check. I'll check every week the iTunes reviews, and if you write one in there, I'll read it out loud with your name.
Yeah, word for word.
Yep.
As long as it's not something we don't like.
Then we'll just pretend you didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do something for the world. Bring some positivity or negativity to the world and
Go
rate
for
and
it.
review it.
It'll have to be something really fucked up.
Don't
for
you
me to
want
not
us?
read it?
Don't you want our show to be successful?
Yeah, but 5 stars. 5 stars. You you can select 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but you're not allowed to only 5.
Wouldn't you love, as a listener of our show, for us to be so popular that we could be employed by it?
Yeah, and you could get a sense of self-importance
Yeah.
about being into us
You were
before we
there.
blew up.
Before we turned into Dinner in Hell movie review podcast because we ran out of topics. Dinner in Hell Game of Thrones discussion.
We're gonna spin off. We're gonna do Game of Thrones hour. We're gonna do fucking NBA hour.
We're gonna do what cowboy western history.
We're gonna be obscure doom metal bands from the late 90s no one else has ever heard of.
You're talking about everything we ever got sidetracked with. We're gonna do Turtles of the World, Jesus Lizard history, Dominic Wilkins history.
We're gonna release a play-along track for Jeopardy every single day.
So, man, this band though.
Oh,
been a
coming
good
in.
one. Been a
They're
good
coming
show.
in strong.
Thanks for jamming, as always.
And thank you to our listeners out there. We love you. And good night.
Cool.